Innovation.
Go ahead if you have the guts.
Well, time for someone new to die.
These aren't just random killings.
There's something really scary about a guy with a knife who just snaps.
I hear you like horror movies.
For you.
You can't hide. This game has a new design. Fear, suffering, death. You haven't seen anything yet. All of my work has been leading to this.
This is your room, Hunter.
Hey, Jackal. Who is that?
It's Ryan Katie.
So weird. I totally thought we lost it.
Somebody broke in and trashed the house.
Christy thought it was a ghost.
I know you guys are freaked out, okay? And I'm going to take care of you guys.
What's your take on this whole ghost situation?
I think it's awesome. This is the freakiest thing that happened to me last night. This is the door closing by itself.
Paranormal Activity 2, rated R, opens Thursday night, October 21st at midnight.
And now, back to Gruesome Gossip, right here on blogtalkradio.com.
All right, we're back here with more Gruesome Gossip on blogtalkradio.com, and we're now going to play our quick quote of the day, and we're going to have our callers call in and answer the question. If you think you know what movie that quote is from, the call-in number is 1-619-393-6766. Again, that is 1-619-393-6766. And here is the quote one more time.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen, I am pain.
There you go. And it looks like we have a caller on the line right now. Caller, hello. What's your name and where are you from?
My name's Cindy Noble, and I'm from Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay, Cindy. And do you know what movie that quote is from?
I believe it's from Hellraiser.
That's right. It is Hellraiser. Thank you very much for calling in there. And thank you for listening. Okay, everyone. We are going to move on here with more Gruesome Gossip. And I know I keep reiterating this, so I pity you listening to this on archive because you have to hear me say it 15,000 times. But currently Skype is having issues with connecting. They are working on this issue. Premium hosts should use a telephone to host their show until Skype issues are resolved. And that is quoted from Blog Talk Radio's page here. So excuse me for any difficulties understanding me here because I have to use my cell phone because Skype is not working correctly. So anyway, moving on here. We are going to move on and talk a little bit about some movies that are in theaters right now. And there's a lot of movies in theaters right now, horror movies, but the predominant horror movies in theaters are Paranormal Activity 2, Saw 3D, and we'll also talk a little bit about Scream 4 Up and Coming. But Saw 3D, let's start by talking a little bit more about Saw 3D. Again, like you guys know, I'm a big Saw fan, and I'm really into the Saw trilogy. And like I've said time and time again, not to beat a dead horse, but for some of you listeners that haven't heard any of our content before, I thought it was an okay movie, on par with the last few, but definitely not the greatest Saw of all time, and I think we need to see another film. They say they're done, but a character's involvement was definitely stated, but it was not, I guess it was just not explained. So that's definitely something I'd like to see, and apparently the 3D effects weren't so great either. I saw it online, so I don't really know. A movie meter, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Each week we'll add a little bit more to the discussion of all these films, but the movie meter here on the Internet Movie Database shows that Saw 3D is down 16% in popularity this week. That's not good. And as we talked about last week, that's one of the reasons why they might not be doing a sequel, is because they haven't been nearly as successful as past films. So that's definitely unfortunate. But what we're going to do now is we are going to talk a little bit more in depth about Saw 3D. We've been reading fun facts about all of this, and we're now going to read the fun facts for Saw 3D. We've already done so for Scream 4 and Paranormal Activity 2, so now we're going to go ahead and do the same for Saw 3D. On January 25th, 2010, news hit that director David Hackle had officially been let go from the film. His replacement was to be series veteran Kevin Greutert. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing his last name, who directed Saw 6 and served as editor for Saw, the original Saw, Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, and Saw 5. This movie was due to the fact that Greutert had signed to direct Saw 7's main competition, Paranormal Activity 2, in 2010, which was to be released on the same day. Fearing low box office grosses, Lionsgate enforced Greutert's contractual obligation to the franchise. Kevin Greutert arrived in Toronto on January the 28th, 2010 to read the script and visit the set. He began work on the film the very next day. Kevin Greutert, along with writers Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton, attempted a comprehensive rewrite of the script a week before filming. During the final week of prep, Tobin Bell worked with writers to own his character. Patrick Melton revealed that he and Marcus Dunstan were crafting this film to be the last in the series. And just before we move on, going up to the fact that Tobin Bell was working on owning his character, I've seen quite a few interviews with Tobin Bell, and one thing I can say is, one thing I can say for sure is the thing with Saw 3, or the thing with Tobin Bell is he really does play his character well, and from what I understand, he really puts in a lot of work to play his character in a way that he wants it to be portrayed. He really works on that character and has a lot of passion when it comes to that. And one of our members in the chat room mentioned that Saw films are getting played out. And, I agree. I don't think there's much more they can do, but the only reason I want to see another film is to explain, again, I don't want to get spoilers out now for those of you who haven't seen it, but there is a character's involvement that was revealed but not explained. So that's the only reason I would want to see another addition to the Saw trilogy. Okay, moving on. On the second day of filming, Kevin Greutert developed a severe cold and lost his voice for a few days. Very, very enlightening. Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan stayed on set to help Kevin Greutert implement his vision into the script. Brian Gedge was the camera operator for previous Saw films. He took over the cinematography when David A. Armstrong decided not to return. For the first time in Saw history, the crew left the soundstage and filmed the trap scene outdoors on Sunday, March 28, 2010, the last day of filming, including another rare outdoor shoot. And I'm wondering if that's not where they're in the store windows there. Betsy Russell wrapped filming on April 8, 2010. Due to slow 3D process, filming was completed in 9 weeks as opposed to the usual